is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path.
First reading. A reading from the book of Judges, chapter 13, verses 2 to 7, 24 to 25. There was a certain man of Zorah, of the tribe of the Danites, whose name was Manoah. His wife was barren, having borne no children. And the angel of the Lord appeared to the woman and said to her, Although you are barren, having borne no children, you shall conceive and bear a son. Now be careful not to drink wine or strong drink, or to eat anything unclean, for you shall conceive and bear a son. No razor is to come on his head, for the boy shall be a Nazarite to God from birth. It is he who shall begin to deliver Israel from the hands of the Philistines. Then the woman came and told her husband, A man of God came to me, and his appearance was like that of an angel of God, most awe-inspiring. I did not ask him where he came from, and he did not tell me his name. But he said to me, You shall conceive and bear a son. So then drink no wine or strong drink, and eat nothing unclean. For the boy shall be a Nazarite to God from birth to the day of his death. The woman bore a son, and named him Samson. The boy grew, and the Lord blessed him. The Spirit of the Lord began to stir in him, in Mahanadan, between Zorah and Eshtaol. The word of the Lord.
Just like we wait for the coming of the Messiah, Elizabeth and Zechariah, they had to wait also for a long time to receive their son, a son that they always wanted to have in their lives, reminding us also of the beauty of waiting, how we need to wait in preparation to receive the Son when He comes into our lives. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Saint Luke. During the time when Herod was king of Judea, there was a priest named Zechariah, who belonged to the priestly order of Abijah. His wife's name was Elizabeth. She also belonged to a priestly family. They both lived good lives in God's sight and obeyed fully all the Lord's laws and commands. They had no children because Elizabeth could not have any, and she and Zechariah were both very old. One day Zechariah was doing his work as a priest in the temple, taking his turn in the daily service, according to the custom followed by the priests. He was chosen by lot to burn incense on the altar. So he went into the temple of the Lord. While the crowd of people outside prayed during the hour when the incense was burnt, an angel of the Lord appeared to him, standing at the right side of the altar where the incense was burnt. When Zechariah saw him, he was alarmed and felt afraid. But the angel said to him, Don't be afraid, Zechariah. God has heard your prayer, and your wife Elizabeth will bear a son. You are to name him John. How glad and happy you will be, and how happy many others will be when he is born. John will be great in the Lord's sight. He must not drink any wine or strong drink. From his very birth he will be filled with the Holy Spirit, and he will bring back many of the people of Israel to the Lord their God. He will go ahead of the Lord, strong and mighty like the prophet Elijah, He will bring fathers and children together again. He will turn disobedient people back to the way of thinking of the righteous. He will get the Lord's people ready for him. Zechariah said to the angel, "How shall I know if this is so? I am an old man, and my wife is old also." "I am Gabriel," the angel answered. "I stand in the presence of God, who sent me to speak to you and tell you this good news. But you have not believed my message, which will come true at the right time. Because you have not believed, you will be unable to speak. You will remain silent until the day my promise to you comes true." In the meantime, the people were waiting for Zechariah and wondering why he was spending such a long time in the temple. When he came out, he could not speak to them. And so they knew that he had seen a vision in the temple. Unable to say a word, he made signs to them with his hands. When his period of service in the temple was over, Zechariah went back home. Some time later, his wife Elizabeth became pregnant and did not leave the house for 5 months. "Now, at last the Lord has helped me," she said. "He has taken away my public disgrace." The Gospel of the Lord. Advent is a time of waiting in anticipation. We wait in preparation to receive the Lord. And likewise, we hear the two characters in our Gospel today, Elizabeth and Zechariah. They were waiting patiently so that the Lord could give them a child. And people don't want to, or people don't like to wait in our world. People need instant things. Just like we eat instant noodles, we have everything that we would like instantly to happen in our lives. But it took time for Elizabeth and Zechariah to conceive and have a child. But there is something beautiful about their waiting that we need to learn as true Christians. The first would be to learn that Zechariah and Elizabeth, they waited with hope. They had the hope that God will never disappoint them. And that we can see in their service to the Lord. As they waited, they also make that a beautiful time of evaluation, to evaluate their faithfulness to the Lord. Zechariah never stopped going to the temple and conducting and carrying out his office of service in the temple. And that shows how much of hope and how much of faith they had in the Lord. Not only that, they kept that promise evermore alive, even though all the odds were against their hope. The Gospel tells us Elizabeth was old, so was Zechariah was old. And therefore, the hope with which they lived were tremendous. And the Lord really showed His favor to Zechariah and Elizabeth, even in their old age. Then we also have the beautiful side of their hope. It seems like both of them gave up their hope after some time, thinking that now we are too old. Let's not bother the Lord even asking Him for a child. But they were wrong. The Lord, who was on their side, even though He took time, He kept His beautiful work and promise. He made sure that even amidst all odds, they will, and their hope will be fulfilled. The promise that God would have given them would be fulfilled. A son to them, so that their life will be a happy one. As Elizabeth tells in the Gospel, at the end of the Gospel, the Lord has shown His favor and taken away her public shame away, disgrace away from her. And this is what we need to have as people who believe in the coming of Messiah. Let us not lose our hope. Let us continue to hope that the Lord will come to meet us and to change us and to make us happy.
Sweet